hope y'all ain't think I was just a recap guy. Yo, what's good everybody? It's Fright Delight, and today we're gonna start a new segment. It's called yeah, that. Scary Story Sundays are just the days we can get away from the movies and get unnerved through scary stories instead. I'm gonna read some stories, give you a few thoughts on them, and hopefully scare you a little bit. So sit back, relax, put your AC down to a smooth 32, and let's get to it. I used to sleepwalk when I was a child. We lived in a rough neighborhood, Decatur, Georgia. And I would wake up outside in the middle of the night, not knowing how I got there, and would have to walk home and walk into the darkened doorway I had left wide open for whoever might be lurking around. However, the time that scared me the most when I was about 9 years old. I woke up and found myself with the bedroom curtains drawn back and staring out the window. As I came awake, I noticed a very large and completely hairless man, no hair, eyebrows, etc., staring at me and slowly inching closer to the window and closer to my face. He was looking bewildered, like he wasn't sure what he was seeing. At that moment, I realized what was going on, and I started screaming uncontrollably, frozen in place and peeing down my leg. The man freaked out and screamed, did a tumbling move, and ran off in a weird zigzag like he was trying to dodge bullets. My mom woke up and probably thought I had a nightmare. The next morning, we found screwdrivers on the front porch and damage to the door and door handle. Yeah, it's just something about being 9 years old, being in a dark place, unfamiliar, waking up to see a hairless man in front of you. The funny thing about it, like he said, he was trying to dodge bullets or some shit, trying to zigzag run. So that just tells me the dude might have been a crackhead and he thought he was getting into the trap house. That's my personal opinion. So this movie, I almost said movie. So this story wasn't really that scary. It just sounded like it was a fiend looking for his next fix. It is still terrifying being a 9-year-old kid, just being in the middle of that stuff though. All right, now let's get to that next story. I grew up in a funeral home. I helped out in the office. When I was about 15, we got a call from a man whose wife and infant baby had been murdered in cold blood. There are very few clues. It made headlines, caught set of surveillance at the viewing. It was heartbreaking as the mother was holding the baby in her arms. I was asked to take the flower cards and periodically get the husband and ask if he recognized the names. I then photocopied them and then put them back. I did because I was a kid. People knew me, and I talked to the husband quite a bit. He seemed devastated and shaken. The cops told me that they had an eyewitness to someone leaving the house the day of the murder. The witness was a 3-year-old girl. She recognized the man leaving. It was the husband's best friend. Turns out the friend and the husband had made a pact to kill each other's families and run off with their secretaries. The little girl identified the friend, and I guess one of them cracked. They both went to jail on multiple counts, all on the testimony of a 3-year-old. I still cannot believe that to this day. The man stood right beside me and I had no fucking clue. This one actually kind of got under my skin because the 3-year-old girl was the one to solve it. There's no clues, which means if it wasn't for that 3-year-old girl, nobody would have got caught and it would have been a cold case. If my loved one went through some shit like that and I found out and I had to whip their ass. Whoever it is will get their ass beat. I had their ass wishing they was the one that got murdered. Shit. Anyways, let's get on to number 3. I moved to my dad's when I was about 10 and didn't know anyone in the area except for the family my dad was friends with. Single mom, 3 kids. Luckily there was a girl a couple years older than me, about 12 at the time I think. We weren't close, but ended up having the same friends. One night my friend Rob was hanging out with her and her younger brother. They happened to be in the house alone because my friend's mom was at work, which is where this story gets terrifying and sad. My mother has been helping out this one lady through her work and got to know her fairly well. She found out that her sister was in a mental institution and was let out recently. The night Rob is hanging out with my friend, they get a knock at the door. My friend thought it was just her mom because she knocks a certain way when she comes in and answered it without thinking. Rob wasn't supposed to be there and he took off through the window to his house down the road. He never thought twice about it. It wasn't her mom. It was the sister of the lady her mom was helping, and she figured out through talking to her sister where the family lived and her mom's working schedule. She came in, and this is where I don't know the details, and I'm glad I don't. The lady brutally murdered my friend a week from Christmas, decapitated her and left her body naked in the bathtub, and hit her head. They had to look through the presents, and I don't know where they found it, but they did. I wasn't allowed to go to their funeral. I gotta sit back on that one, homies. These stories just goes to show how much more scary real life can be than movies sometimes. Moral of the story, homies, don't answer the door for nobody you don't know. Look through the peephole, and if your door don't got a peephole, look through the window that's next to your door. Well, homies, I appreciate y'all coming through. So thank y'all, homies, for tuning in to a Scary Story Sunday, the first ever. I appreciate y'all coming through. Slash that like button again, and I'll catch y'all later, homies. Peace.